thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. My name is Solomon Jagwe, and I'm here today with the awesomely talented Ng'endo Mukii, a friend of mine. We've met as judges on a previous event, and I'm excited to talk about an amazing film called Enkai. And Ng'endo, if you don't mind, could you please introduce yourself? Because you have so many accolades. I don't know if I can finish them. Do your best to summarize them.
No, I've been calling myself a documentary animator for a long period of time, but I've moved into fiction storytelling. But I think I still carry a lot of that documentary animation, life-based experiences into my storytelling and fiction. So, and I'm a mixed media filmmaker. So this is very evident when you're looking at something like Enkai. And I was talking with one of my friends last night, and we decided, actually it's Bob Mushiri, Mushiri Jenga. And we're saying, we've decided that the Kenyan style of animation, we should call it mashakura, a specific Kikuyu style of animation. Because Kikuyus, we just cook everything in the pot, just throw everything in.
Just throw it in, yeah.
Beans, whatever, rice, it's all going in. It's the most efficient way to cook. Throw in the spices. So for me, my animation is the same style. Mashakura, mixed media. Yeah.
I love that. So you just coined a new word?
Literally around midnight. Mashakura.
Okay. Very good. That will be the name going forward, and we'll always remember it was Ng'endo who did it. Yeah. So yeah. And I imagine that the taste, like if you're talking about cooking and then all the things, the flavors coming together, because when I was watching your episode, my goodness, I literally had goosebumps, from the moment like that. And there's even like almost like an Easter egg. I don't know if people will catch it. I did. And it's on a book. And I think it's your name, isn't it?
I'm always in.
Yeah, that was such a beautiful touch to it. And I was like, I had to actually rewind because I was like, did I see it? Yeah, so it's beautiful. It's a beautiful film. It really reflects the work that you've done in the past, and that opening shot. And I'm gonna do my best not to spoil, like for those who haven't watched it, please guys, go watch Ng'endo's episode. Even though it's at the bottom, I know it's like 1 out of 10 at the very bottom. Please scroll all the way down. It's down there so you can watch it. And so when I open the first scene, when it opens, it's almost reminiscent. It reminds me of yellow fever, when the mother, someone is like doing hair. So give me an insight in that. How did that happen? Was that like coincidence?
So I haven't even connected that. That's I hadn't seen that, and it's like almost 10 years after releasing Yellow Fever. In fact, it's just over 10 years. That I'm making a film with another opening scene with hair being done, and we want to show the relationship between Shiro the mom and Enkai the daughter. And getting your hair done, as an African girl by your mom is one of the most intimate times, especially when you're sitting on the floor. She's sitting on a stool behind you. It's a very intimate sort of time that you share. It's a playful time. It's also when you're being like reminded, put your head this way, put your head that way. So we wanted to show their relationship and this sort of capsule of their mother-daughter connection, and to show what is really at risk of being lost. So this was one of the sort of intimate ways that I could think of just opening, and we're already in their relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I know when I watch my wife doing my daughter's hair, and African hair is literally, it's like a lot of work. You have to like detangle and do all those things. So I thought that was really a touching moment, especially seeing that these are celestial beings, right? But to give them that kind of human touch, I think was a nice touch. Well done for that. And I have to ask about the mom. I've seen like the way your style, right? The way you dress, the way you like have beads on the forehead sometimes. Was that intentional as well? Is she you?
Not me. She's not
Yeah.
me, but she's a
Right.
representative for many mothers that I know.
Right.
You know, and in terms of celebrating our culture, I was really trying to bring as many elements as possible. I was also researching more about the traditional wear that we had, and I wanted to bring something a bit modernized, a bit like reinterpret a bit. You know, Enkai is wearing actually her outfit when she's older is based on initiation outfits that girls used to wear in Kikuyu tradition when they're coming of age. Shiro's clothing is very traditional as well for women. And also like her headdress is what Kikuyu medicine men would wear. You know, so I'm interpreting all of these different elements from our culture. And then we did have a bit of complication in terms of Shiro's hair, and I ended up referring to Himba culture. You can see the hair is very different. Like traditionally, we were mostly bald, like women were almost universally bald. So there were some interpretations because I still wanted her to have hair, and I wanted to be able to hold the universe, you know, within her hair. It's like an entire galaxy is set inside of her hair. So it was important for me for her to have hair and for it to be big. But I wanted her to look different to Enkai, who ends up having an afro. Yeah, there's something else I want to say. Cowrie shells. I love cowrie shells. So, and there is one particular hairstyle where I like to do some lines and then have cowrie shells as a, so that one, I was just like, make her look like me. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So when you were working with the concept artist, the concept art team, what kind of thoughts went through? Like, what was the process like? You know, was it did you have to draw? Because I know you're hands-on. I've seen your work, and you usually put you do from beginning to end, right? What was it like working with concept artist?
Okay, so you know, right at the beginning, we were working with Salim Busuru from Avandu, and this was the initial stage of development. And then when we went, you know, I like researched, I did drawings, I sent them, I had mood boards, all of this stuff, and then he would react to that. Sometimes I would write notes on a document and send back. Other times I was like combining different things that I liked, sketching a little bit, and then sending back and saying, you know, this is what I prefer. And then when we went into production with Blink Ink in London, it was, you know, we started now like, okay, we're in production, and every studio wants to have their own touch on things. And I really specifically chose Blink Ink because I wanted to work with them because they do a lot of mixed media. I also interned with them when I graduated from the Royal College of Art.
Nice. Yeah.
You know, so I was like running around doing coffee, photocopying.
Yeah. So wait, did you actually? Yeah. Those are awesome memories for sure. So were you there physically in their studio?
When we were in production, no, I was teaching in the US. So I was working in Boston. When we went into production, I moved during production from Nairobi to Boston to teach in the US because I'm teaching at Tufts University. And that was hard because, you know, they're in the UK and I'm in the East Coast. Yeah. So we're having meetings at 5:30 in the morning. Oh, it was terrible. But once we started working with production there, we kind of overhauled the design. And Camille was my art director, and we just went back and forth. We really reworked the design work. We reworked the environments. They still hold a lot of they hold the essence of what we had created initially, but it was just like ramped up to such a beautiful level, you know. And again, it was a lot of back and forth. It was very strange because sometimes, you know, you're working with a European studio and they're not necessarily used to African features. So literally sending a photo like of my lips, to my, of my nose, and being like this detail. You're not used to like this line over here. It's on top of
line. Yes.
this roundness of the nose. Like I need these, please.
Yeah.
It was really like underlining sometimes very specifically, but also really enjoying working with people who are so proficient. When I've been working independently, as you said, going across the entire pipeline. But then which gives me like a very good overview, very ability to manage the entire project on my own. However, someone who's been doing art direction or like technical director or animation for 10, 15 years is going to be super refined at that. So it was really a blessing to be able to trust the people that I was working with and not always put my fingers like in every section. And that was really a great blessing.
Yeah, it's very difficult when you have like a baby as an idea to then hand it off to someone else to polish up, essentially, you know. So it's not
being handed off. It's still there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. And so tell me about the
so I like to think about it as like I'm tapping into them. It's like a hive mind. Yeah.
I like that. Like a hive mind. Okay. Yeah. So tell me about the inspiration of the story. Had you had this story in mind before the opportunity came up, or did you write this story specifically for Kizazi Moto?
So I like that you have your Ugandan touch. You just called it Kizazi.
Right.
I just like it when I like how it sounds with that Ugandan touch. So we were asked to submit up to 3 concepts at the beginning, and Enkai was one of the concepts I submitted. These were fresh ideas that I had, and I was really, we were told to consider what Africa is like in the future, and I was thinking to myself specifically for Enkai, I was thinking, if I was God right now, how would I feel about the state of the planet? With what human beings are doing, with the fact that I've made this extremely beautiful place that is all symbiotic and humans are like taking over and just doing all of this pollution, etc. And then I thought, like, what about if I was God, I'd want to go on holiday. I'd want to just take a break. I can come back later. And then I thought, what about in 100 years? And I was like, in 100 years, I'm done. Okay. I need to let these guys continue the project. I'm going to go chill out. I can retire, whatever it is. Yeah. So I was thinking about that. I was thinking in the future, what have we as humanity done to our gods? What have we? How far have we pushed them? What state have we reduced them to? And that's where I started writing the story from. And then I'm also thinking about women, Black women, especially Black Indigenous women, and how much of the burdens of society we are endlessly carrying. And how we are told, like, this is our duty. It's like God has instructed you that this is your duty. This is your responsibility. So, so God, as a Black Indigenous woman, carrying this weight of the world, for me, makes a lot of sense. And I wanted to envision what it's like for us to put that burden down. And who would have that vision? I feel like younger generations of women would have that vision. And it's,
I had like almost a physical reaction whenever something happened outside. There's the gesture that Nkai's mom does, like holding her belly like this, almost like, I think that was really profoundly done because I could feel the pain. I could see the mother, you're interested with taking care of almost like the dreams of the world. But then there's that struggle of taking care of your own and your own needing you as much. So the style of the animation, right? I was looking at, you had to have thought of who was going to play some of these characters. Did you submit like a list of potentials, or did people like have to audition for the roles?
We had auditions, and I had a list of people I wanted to look at, and I had the feeling. But then, when you're listening, when you're watching the auditions, you want to be open. So I had the feeling, but I was open for whoever might come my way. So what I did is I had when I was listening to the auditions for Shiro, I had Shiro's image on the computer, on my monitor. So I was just looking at Shiro and feeling, does this feel like her? Does it have the right weight? Does it have the right tone? Does Shiro feel more gritty? Does she feel too high pitched? Does she feel too low pitched? Shiro is doing a lot of activity. Does his voice carry that sort of power that Shiro is embodying? All of these questions. So, and then the same thing for Enkai. I need someone who's able to have a young voice, a youthful voice for the 5-year-old version of Enkai, this curiosity, this hurt, someone who's able to go through those emotions. And then the 12-year-old voice where she's determined, where she's, thinking about her mom, talking with her companion, Awa. Awa was another really fantastic process for finding the voice. And again, for all of these characters, and also the Makanga, we had a number of auditions. And the Makanga is like, I felt for the Makanga character that I feel like, even in Nairobi, when we're having disasters, whether it's flooding or something of the sort, and, people are not able to go across the city, the Makangas are always jumping out of the matatus. They're ferrying, they're carrying children on their backs. I feel like when there's a full disaster, as much as we complain about the roughness of Makangas, part of that roughness means that they're long lasting. I don't know what to say. Yeah, they're able to deal with all of the different the weather that our city say weather in very many, the political weather, socio-economic weather, the weather. So like at the end of the world, they're going to be the ones who are coming to pick up the people who haven't escaped yet. So anyway, sorry, to go back to the question, Solomon. I was watching and I was listening. I was looking at the image, and you just had a feeling like this is Shiro, this is Enkai, this is the Makanga. He's hit it. And then when we found Awa, it was just Awa's voice. This lady in London sent the recording. We had listened to many voices, and they were very sort of. They sounded like animal voices we've heard before. They sounded too heavy, or they sounded like the wrong species. Even though Awa is a Mashakura animal as well. But like when I heard her voice, this was Kate Harbour. It's just like, this one is Awa. I don't know how. Same thing with Sheila Muniva. When I was looking at Shiro and I heard her voice, I was like, this is Shiro. Same thing with Stacy. Stacy Wawere was like, this is Enkai. And Baris for the Makanga. It was just beautiful. You knew that they were the people.
So Makanga, we have in Uganda what they call border borders. Is that the equivalent?
So no, you guys have matatus. You must have matatus. I know there's a lot of border.
Yeah, matatus, but in terms of our convenience, when you need someone like to get around town, because in Uganda we can get like traffic jam where the matatus can't get anywhere, but the border borders are the ones that go in and out. Now I noticed that Makanga, the voice actor,
is the tout, the guy who gets you on the bus.
Yes. So the last name is Luchamuzi. Is that person Ugandan?
He's one of your people.
That's right. I was like, there's a Ugandan in here.
Yeah.
There's a Ugandan in here. So were you intentional in trying to get maybe like some Kenyan talent on this film?
Well, the film is the characters are Kenyan. It's based on Kikuyu mythology. So this was definitely the priority, was to have Kenyans on it.
Yeah.
Now that one for me wasn't a question. And Varis, like Luchamuzi, like we were together in an acting workshop a few years ago. We met. So, and he's also been a Makanga before. So I knew that
Wow.
he understands this character. He understands how the cities function in a way that we are never going to understand.
Yeah.
And he sees people in like, you know, picking people up super early in the morning, taking people home at the end of the night. Like he understands the sort of heartbeat of the city in a different way. So for him to deliver that rap. Yeah, okay.
So, yeah. All right. I wanted to ask about the choice of animation, right? Because this film is so beautifully done in terms of how you mix 3D animation and stop motion and things like that. Please walk us through the process of and the challenges that you may have encountered.
Thanks. So I was trying to make the different worlds that we move through very distinct, and very apparent, like what is the world of the gods, the celestial space, what does our world look like, and what does this new planet look like. And I wanted a very clear separation between the three. So I wanted GI for you know, the celestial realm where Enkai and Shiro live. And I wanted 2D for the human world because we are the product of Shiro's creation. And we are also kind of, it's not to say that 2D is lesser beings, but we are flatter, we have a flatter experience of the human world, which is where we are existing. And then Diary, which is the new planet that Enkai makes, is stop motion, because all of these things are things that Enkai has created with her hands in her bedroom. She's been experimenting, and I wanted to have a very tactile feeling, like a child has been doing some origami and you know, like molding some mountains and carving away to make little animals. So that was essential for me to be in stop motion. So we had a physical set for that. Yeah.
Very beautiful. Yeah, that's awesome. I could see your hands all over that, because I was like, this is Ng'endo. She did that. I could see the direction. I could see your whole, like I could almost imagine you being in that room saying, this is how it's supposed to be. Like, even the doors, the door is, wait, I don't want to spoil it because I want people to actually watch your episode. So again, like I always say, guys, if you don't watch this, you will miss out on the experience. Please go watch the episode, and from beginning to end, and look at the credits too as well. So going forward to the, I want to talk about the.
Solo, wait. One of the things that was complicated about going across these three mediums was trying to figure out how we're going to make them gel. Yeah, how to make a cohesive film. We didn't want it to just be like cha-cha-cha, almost like breaking up. So the first thing that we decided is that we're going to work on threes to try to have a more stoppy feeling, to connect the CGI, the 2D, and the stop motion together. This was quite complicated because we're not used to seeing CGI characters in threes. We're used to them being in ones, which is super smooth. So this was difficult also for animating, because you're having a lot of dialogue between the mom and the daughter, and like hitting the actual shapes with the sound was complicated sometimes, because you're, you know, you could be 2 frames off. So you decide, am I going to be 2 frames early, or am I going to be 2 frames late? You know, what is this going to look like? So that was complicated. And we really worked on the textures of Shiro and Enkai, and you can see there's a bit of like a brushy texture to them. We did a lot of research how we're gonna work on their skin and on their clothing so that they could move through the different spaces without in threes as CGI characters, and still fit in all of the different environments. So that was quite complicated. And my the technical director and my assistant director, Dorian Fiblio, was did so much research on that to try to figure this out. And then when we got to the compositing, it was like, again, more research, because now we're going through different environments. So if you pay attention, you'll see that Shiro and Enkai and Awa actually look different in each environment. Yeah. And then we also make sure that there's like a little bit of a blend as we are going through, like a bit of an overlap, so that the worlds, you go through a little corridor each time. Like the tree was good. The trees are good for that.
Yeah. So what was that pinch me moment like as the treatment started coming in? What were your thoughts like when you first saw the visuals?
The what? The visuals.
Yeah.
As a confession, there are very many times where I had a little weep. My team already knows this. I was crying throughout production because I was just so happy. But at the beginning, I wasn't crying publicly. Like we'd be in a meeting and they give me up, and I'd just turn off my camera. And then at some point, I have to turn off my mic because I'm not able to.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, what happened to Ng'endo? And then I'd come back and I'd be like, oh, sorry, guys, I was having technical issues. Yeah. And I was just, I love the film so much. I feel like I'm so happy I've been able to have so many of the elements that I've loved since I was so young, and also very feminine elements. And these tend to be elements that are really sort of undermined within different, just in life in general, like women's obsession with glitter, the color pink, fuchsia. I remember being told to stop drawing pineapples and flowers when I was young. I was like, like I had an aunt who, my mom's friend, who would come over, and it was during my exams. So I was in O levels and I was doing different studies, like pastel, acrylic, watercolor studies of this pineapple. And it's my favorite fruit. So I remember her sitting next to me and she's like, Ng'endo, every time I come here, you're drawing. I know you're an intelligent girl. Why are you doing this to your family? You could be a doctor. You could be.
Why are you doing this to your family?
Hey, I was punishing my parents. Yeah. And she's like, you spent all this money on your education for what? I was like, hey, I just kept drawing my pineapple. I was like, I will not be moved from this point. Thank you very much.
Now, is this in Swahili or is it in English while you're having this conversation?
At least it was in English. I would not have been able to handle it in Kikuyu. I think I would have slept on the floor. I think I would have just turned into a puddle and been washed away.
That's right.
I wouldn't have been able to handle that. Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't want a celestial slap.
No, that would have been too much. I'm glad she stayed in English. But but you see, even pineapples are included in the film. It's just like it was such an opportunity to include all the things that bring me joy, that make me feel saturated and warm and intimate, and they make me feel like home. There's fabrics, there's a part of the set is also made with fabrics. There's flowers from different parts of Kenya, like the Mugumo trees there, the Mount Kenya is there. There are like so many elements from home, and I just wanted to capture that as much as possible.
Yeah. Can you please speak to a young Ng'endo somewhere out there, like this young girl, every young girl African girl out there who has a dream of creating a film? Like, could you please say, what would you say to them, like in this moment?
Someone the other day was asked a similar question. I was in the room and they said that you make sure you're passionate about the work that you want to do, because it's difficult. And if you're, to make a film is it's taken us 3 years to make these films. And when I've been working on my short animations, I've been working for is it 15 years or something? Like I wasn't even believing that this is going to be an experience that this wasn't in my vision. And I remember asking myself, like, okay, Ng'endo, you've been working independently in the film industry in Kenya, all these years. You've worked for different companies, you've worked for yourself, you've made your own films, you've made films for other people. Like, I felt like I was stagnating a little bit, and I was like, what are you going to do next? But for this opportunity to open up, I had to have gone through that entire journey. And I had to have stuck it out even when it was difficult. I stuck it out even when, there's so much like misogyny within the space. When you're going to festivals and you're pitching, you're sticking it out even when you're submitting to festivals and they're not taking your films. But you stick it out with things because you're passionate about them and because you feel called to do them. So like this film for me and a lot of my films have been a way for me to almost cleanse myself of things that I've experienced or things that I have witnessed within my life. All of these stories are very intimate for me. So even when people have asked me like if I'm a mom because of the film, and I'm like, no, but the story is the daughter's story, and I'm a daughter. So I'm channeling the things that I've experienced myself. And it's, by doing that, you're able to empathize also with a mom because I'm thinking about it from a very, the perspective is very close. The experience is very intimate. So I'm able to empathize on that side as well. So it's hard to mine those histories. It's hard to work through them, but then you feel sort of cleansed at the end of it. So if you're passionate about whatever it is that you want to do, then you'll be willing to go through those journeys that make the final thing like so satisfying and so satiating. So yeah, I think the first point is the passion. You have to feel it.
Yeah, I feel just like we've just been in a lecture with Professor Ng'endo in a moment. I can almost see you on a podium somewhere talking to students. So thank you so much for that. So in terms of going forward, what do you see beyond Enkai? Like, do you envisage yourself creating another episode, maybe in season 2? What is beyond Enkai?
I don't know what is beyond Enkai. I'm going to find out. And I am also one of those superstitious people. I'm superstitious. Can I say banange? I'm superstitious.
Banange, yes.
I'm superstitious.
Yeah, banange. Yeah, so I think one of the things that I noticed in the film, you really poured yourself into it. At the end of it all, like after you had worked so hard, what was it like to refill like that emptiness? Is it mostly the joy? Because I saw a comment that you made. You said, this woman has just made a Disney film. Talk to me about that feeling.
It's I just want people to watch. I just want people to see, like, we spent 3 years making these things. I just want you to watch it. Enkai is the most beautiful thing that I have made in my entire life. It's the culmination of so many years of experimentation, of testing things out, of working, of flopping, of getting up again, of succeeding, of marking, oh, I like that, I don't like that. It's like, I showed the film to this director that I've worked for before. I used to do documentary editing for him. And I showed him the film last week, and he's like, I can't even understand how you came to this point. Like, I can't get it. And I'm like, it's because it's 15 years, and it's not just 15 years. It's from when I was a child. It's from like that moment where my dad picked up a pencil and put a paper in front of each of us as kids and was like, someone is going to draw out of the 4 of you, because he used to be an artist, but he had to become a lawyer. So he was like, one of you, I don't know which one. someone here is going to be
Yeah.
an artist. Someone has inherited it. So he
Yeah.
just tested us out. He was just testing us, and eventually I was the one who I found a lot of like I felt very calm like drawing. It gave me a
Yeah.
lot of solace. I felt very grounded by it. So I needed it a lot as I was growing up.
Yeah.
So it's all those years from the time I was drawing that banana on the table, on the dining table, waiting for lunch,
Yeah.
and you know the things that you watch throughout your life, the music you listen to. Zap Mama is has done the music. Zap Mama, like was the person who carried me through my first university experience in the UK when I was like
Right.
19. You know, me and one of my best friends used to listen to Zap Mama all the time. So that's how I survived this first year in the UK. Um, so all of that, like all these things you collect on the way. You know, it's like collaborations you have with people. Yeah, JP Hines was my sound designer. He worked on Yellow Fever. You can, you know, that grittiness of Yellow Fever, just very like the sound really pops, a lot of the pixelation, especially. And he worked on that film for free. Yeah. So I've been looking, I was like, I need to find the project where I call JP, you know, and JP can come on and I'm not asking him to work for free. And I know he's also going to bring that grit, that texture to the project. So it's a culmination, really.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Has your family seen this? Have they seen Enkai yet?
I've shown my mom, yes, but
What was the reaction?
my mom is she had a similar question. She's like, "How did you do this? What were you thinking?" And then she really enjoyed the
Did
Kikuyu.
she say Ng'endo?
No. You know what my mom calls my work ka-films. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ka-films. And she's like, "Hey, it's a good ka-film, huh? Ng'endo."
Yeah, because I remember you did a documentary of your mom, like the journey that she was on. So I know she has to look at this and see the journey that you've been on as well. If she could make a film of you for you, I think there would be like so many gems that we could hear from that. I wish I was in that room. So I am so proud of the work that you've done, Ng'endo. And one thing that I was thinking about, I can't wait for us to work on something together because it's been so many years, It's about time, I think. But thank you so much to you.
Sorry, Solomon, which state are you in?
I'm in Virginia on the East Coast.
Virginia. Oh, you're in Virginia. If there's a film festival, well, anyway, you know what? I think I have a friend in Virginia. I'll be on the East Coast as well. Yeah.
Okay, please let me know. Let me know, and then we can grab a cup. There's actually I think a Kenyan restaurant here that you might enjoy. They have some really cool Kenyan. Yeah. So thank you so much for your time today. And I mean, it's amazing the work that you've done, guys. I really encourage you to go watch Enkai, watch from beginning to end. Rewatch it again and again because the more you watch it, the more these films are gonna get pushed even further. So, in terms of like as we're winding out, what would you like to say to the Triggerfish team, to the Disney team, and even maybe your other fellow directors who are part of this? What was this like symbiosis like? Did you learn from them? Did you borrow some things from them they could employ on your side on your film?
I think, we've gotten to know each other as the directors in the last couple of months because we've met up in LA and then we met up in Johannesburg for the premiere. So we are now learning each other better. Yeah. Before that, we were sort of working in silos alongside each other and then kind of tapping into when you're having technical issues, how do you do hair? How did you guys sort out this texture, stuff like that? And it was just magical because when you watch them, one after the other, you realize how much of a spiritual element is going through all of the films and how even though we were working independently, we're all thinking about ancestry, how we're part of society, and these spiritual elements in the future. while looking at African futures and Afrofuturism. So that was really exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, for Disney and for Triggerfish and for Blink and for, all the companies involved, it's just such a beautiful project, and it's such an honor to be part of it. So yeah, thank you for that opportunity.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ng'endo. And I mean, I am honored to have you today and for us to come almost full circle, because when we started out, we were helping other African animators to, gauge the projects that they've created, giving a platform to other, East African artists. So this is, I think, almost a full circle moment where you've actually created something that people can be inspired by. So thank you for the beautiful work. Thank you for staying true to Kenyan culture, East African culture. We are neighbors after all, right? So thank you so much. And I think I can't wait to see what else you create in the future. So any final words before we wrap up?
Yeah, it's been nice chatting to you. Thank you for taking the time to meet up. And everyone should watch the anthology from top to bottom because the anthology is just magic. And then when you watch my episode, you should watch it on repeat.
On repeat. That's great.
That's my leaving my hurting words. Watch all the films and then
watch on repeat. Yeah. And again, scroll all the way to the bottom so you can actually see it. Yeah.
So it's one thing about our East African people. If you notice, Raymond is opening and I'm closing. So East Africa opens and closes the anthology.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's beautiful. So thank you for
boom out. So when Raymond and I see each other and when we're chatting, we're like kufungua na kufunga, kufungua na kufunga.
Exactly. I like that. That would be like almost a caption in the screen.
Yeah.
Hashtag. Yeah. Thank you so much. This is beautiful, and I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Shirley. Everyone who was part of this, I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Take care.
You take care. Yeah. Bye-bye.